What's up, guys? This is Boondocks. Right now I'm going to record a video for a build that was kind of suggested to me, and it was kind of left open-ended, and it's very thematic. It's going after being the bee, I guess. Like, everything that I'm doing here is to make myself look and act as much like a bee as possible, or something like that. So basically I'm using weapons that only have to do with bees and bugs in general. Obviously I had to make some breaks when it came to my class mod and relic, but outside of that I feel like I did a pretty good job. This build is not powerful at all. Let me put that out there already. Like, it does have weapons in it that are good. They are fun weapons, and you would think that with them they'd be very excellent, but because I put the restriction on myself that I can only use weapons that involve bugs, I'm limited to what else I can use to complement them. So most of my damage is corrosive, and everything else, there's no really good bug weapons, I guess, beyond that. So for starters, let's go through the bug weapons. I took the hive. Obviously bees live in hives, and it actually has a pretty cool effect. It shoots out a giant green ball that then shoots out a bunch of other little bullets from it before it explodes. Those bullets will gain any benefit from the bee. Down here you get all this bonus amp damage, so it actually plays into it pretty well. Then I took the proactive yellow jacket. This gun is not very good. It's very inaccurate, and even though the accuracy says it's so high, the way it works is whenever you fire, your bullets start to accelerate very rapidly until they become invisible, so it becomes hard to track where your ammo is actually hitting. And because it has such bad recoil, you start shooting all over the place. The only way to successfully fire it is you have to be zoomed in. I typically am zoomed in to begin with anyway, but it's still pretty difficult to aim. Then we have the Twin Hornet. Twin Hornet is the best weapon I have here, and it's the go-to. Plus it applies with that whole bug thing, the bees. So it works out rather nicely. The nice thing about it is just its massive corrosive damage. So when you put that on enemies, especially armor targets, they melt. Coupled with the ×2 effect, it fires very, very nicely. The only issue is it's a doll weapon, so you have to constantly keep clicking in order to fire it. It's not automatic, it's semi-auto. Then down here, this is the one that I took a stretch on. I personally couldn't think of any other bug-related weapons, so if you can, feel free to use it or even send me a message. Post it in the comments. But I took the splat gun. Again, not very, I guess, bug-related, other than the fact that you smush bugs, they go splat. Whatever, it was a stretch. Sorry. But it gives me my slag damage, but I'm mostly going to be getting slag from my phase locks. It's just in here to stick with the bug idea. Then we have the blast-proof bee. Obviously the bee is applied to bees, so it makes sense. Plus it goes very well with the build overall. As much as I dislike using the bee, it's the only way that you can win with this, since the only decent weapon is the Hornet. Then we have the homing fire bee. This is the only fire weapon I have, which kind of sucks because it's a lot more difficult to melt your fleshy targets. But there you have it. I then take Bone of the Ancients just to get the corrosive damage and the cooldown rate. It's more of the cooldown rate that I'm looking for, but the corrosive damage increase, since I'm going to be falling back to using the Hornet the most, it's always beneficial. For my class mod, I'm going to use the legendary class mod for the cooldown rate, and the gun damage is whatever. It also gives me pretty good upgrades to this different abilities that I kind of want to use. So as far as abilities go, the reason I went so far in Emotion Tree and I took certain abilities that I normally wouldn't, aka Subsequence, is I'm mostly just looking for following that whole bee idea. And bees take control of, or bee queens are in control of other little minions. So I wanted to have a way to take control of the enemy and turn them into my minion. So that's why I have Thought Lock. The rest of it, it's pretty straightforward. I always take ward if you're going to use the B, just for that shield recharge delay is amazing. Pretty much as soon as it goes down, it'll start recharging, as long as you're not taking damage, obviously, and that's what makes the B very effective on Maya. As far as accelerate goes, it's just that little increase of gun damage, and the bullet speed can actually be detrimental when it comes to firing that weird friggin' gun. What the hell was its name? Yellow Jacket. Sorry about that. When it comes to firing the Yellow Jacket, the faster the bullets go, the quicker they turn invisible, and the harder it is to track. But I'm not really planning on using it that much, so it's kind of irrelevant. Now, suspension is always a must-have if you're planning on trying to extend your phase lock, which I am. The longer my enemies are controlled, the more damage I can do, and the better it is. Converge just pulls in all the enemies, and since I'm going to be maxing out my Cataclysm tree as well, they'll all become slagged and pretty much have every single elemental effect on them. Quicken, so that way I can get more of my phase locks out. Then one of my least favorite skills, Subsequence. The reason I put points into this, I felt like it kind of still applies to that whole B thing. When one dies, you just kind of gain control of another. I'm stretching it. But over here we have Mind's Eye. Increase critical hit and melee damage. I'm not really going to be critting that much, but I just put 1 point in it since I already gave him the benefit, and I just want to get to Wreck. Wreck's awesome because whenever I have a phase-locked enemy, my damage is increased pretty drastically. Plus I get an increase to fire rate, which is always nice. Sweet Release, this way whenever I kill a phase-locked enemy, I heal up. Since I have no other healing method, that's very needed. Over here, I max out Foresight and Flicker. Foresight's very helpful because the Hornet reloads very slowly. So this will just let you slap in that new round that much quicker. And Flicker, since I'm going to be using all corrosive, I want to make sure it's applied as quickly as possible, but there's a lot of issues with Flicker that they've yet to address. As far as Immolate, Helios, Backdraft, and Blight Phoenix, just put points in them to move down. I do like Chain Reaction because now if you shoot the phase lock target, it'll bounce off and hit other enemies. This isn't as effective though, since when I do gain control of them, they start running all over the place and it's hard to hit them specifically as opposed to when they're held up in the air. Reaper's always nice because it increases your damage to enemies that have more than 50% health. That way they just drop that much quicker. Cloud Kill's worthless, but Ruin is always nice. This way when I phase lock enemies, not only do they all get brought together thanks to convergence, but now they're also all slagged, electrocuted, corroded, and it's very nice. So, let me just show how these work. I'm a little bit in a Digistruct Peak. I'm on a lower difficulty level than what I normally would show, mostly because this is so difficult to do, which might have something to do with the fact that I haven't played for so long. I've been playing Final Fantasy XIV, League of Legends, that type of thing. Plus, I started school recently. First time since leaving for the Navy that I've had school, so I'm just trying to put a lot of focus on it. Beyond that, I do use Gibbed. If anybody's watching this and they're like, hey, why do you have so much rocket ammo or grenades? I use Gibbed. I don't like stopping and looking for ammo. Yes, it's cheating. I don't care. But as you can see, the Hornet, you just shoot it out, wait for it to hit the enemies, and start proccing. You kind of want to shoot it up to the side and around them, not directly at them, so that way those little bullets shoot off and hit the enemy. As you can see, they're also homing, which is nice. When it does finally explode, it will explode to do extra damage, but it's not as reliable since it doesn't explode right away. The enemies will very, very easily move out of the area. This could be overcome if you didn't have the Thought Lock for your phase lock ability and gain control. Instead, you could just gain control of an enemy in the same area that you shoot your rocket, and then you're almost guaranteed that it'll explode directly on them. But typically when an enemy's phase locked, they die so quickly anyway, it's relatively pointless. Okay, let's see here. What do I want to do? Oh shit, that's going to be a pain. Well, maybe not, because I'll just gain control. Now shoot that there. Shoot that there. I also forgot to point out, one of the skills I took makes it so that I whenever I kill an enemy, I regain shield. That's purely because I need my shield to be up at pretty much all times in order to be effective. As you can see, it's taken me a decent amount of time just to kill these weak-ass enemies. It might have something to do with the fact that it's a lot more difficult to slag them, unless I have them phase-locked. But overall, I think it's just because the build's not very strong. It's purely if you want to go for something weird and thematic. I definitely don't recommend ever playing this if you actually decide you need to farm up the items. It's not worth the time. There's a lot more other things you can do. But if you have Gibbed and you just want to mess around, go for it. Oh, they dropped some interesting stuff. I've actually seen bees drop here before, like running through here. It's kind of interesting when that goes. You can get a lot of good gear from running Digistruct Peak, in all honesty, just because of the level of the enemies here. They have a higher chance of dropping decent stuff, or at least that's what I've noticed. They all seem to have access to the like global pools. I wonder if they fixed that. You used to be able to phase lock them. Maybe it's because I'm doing the afterthought thing as opposed to the normal. But usually you used to be able to phase lock those guys out. Again, it's been a while since I've played. Hopefully I'm not a total idiot anymore. But I keep like misclicking buttons and stuff. Like, because I've been playing an MMO, I keep hitting my R button to run. Oh man, those fuckers healed them up all the way. Get over here, you bastard. Wow, okay, they killed him for me. That's nice of them, I guess. Yeah, look at that melt. I mean, I say look at them melt, but they're at such a low OP level that it's kind of a joke how long it's really taking me. Pretty much all my other Maya builds would have killed them a lot quicker. But, whatever. Not that big a deal. Yeah, well, I'm missing jumps and can't sprint right. Anyway, this was just recommended to me as an idea. It's purely just something to mess around with. But, there you have it. That's the Queen Bee Maya. Maya's the Queen Bee. I tried to make her look like a bee right here, if you couldn't tell. But, good luck, guys. Have fun. Peace.